A fully autonomous delivery robot swerves past a rusted street food cart. In a single frame, you see the contradiction. Scroll through your feed, and you'll find an endless stream of videos portraying a flawless, hyper-advanced utopia. You'll see a green and white monorail gliding cleanly through the middle of an apartment building, passing right by someone's living room. Swipe down, and the algorithm serves up the exact opposite. You'll find drone shots of uniform concrete sprawl, accompanied by commentary dissecting decaying infrastructure and supposedly abandoned ghost cities. Both of these narratives rely on raw, unedited video to make their case. The footage is real, yet the conclusions directly contradict each other. To figure out what the world's most powerful rising nation actually looks like on the ground, we have to bypass the algorithm's war over its reality. Travel vloggers routinely post footage of deep rural villages boasting flawless 5G signals, perfectly swept streets, and absolute safety late at night. Critics immediately label these videos as state-sponsored propaganda. They argue that foreigners are carefully funneled through a highly curated mirage designed specifically for Western consumption. With both sides accusing the other of lying, finding the physical ground truth becomes a massive filtering problem. When the entire discussion is reduced to a geopolitical scorecard, the actual individuals living through these changes get lost in the noise. The staggering infrastructural rise over the last 3 decades is an undeniable physical fact. The tech ecosystem powering these urban centers is entirely frictionless. Residents rely on singular applications to order food, message friends, and manage their finances. Cash is practically non-existent. This map compares Chongqing to Canada. Chongqing houses 36 million people in a stacked labyrinth of infrastructure. As this chart shifts to historical investment, we see how massive state subsidies and centralized planning rapidly deployed fleets and infrastructure at a scale independent of market forces. The futuristic marvels are entirely real, but they are highly concentrated hubs, engineered for maximum economic efficiency and global visibility. Recent visa-free travel policies actively funnel vloggers into manicured heritage sites. These protected zones are perfectly maintained, free of overflowing bins and designed to present a flawless cultural aesthetic. Look just outside the window of the high-speed rail, and the curated zones immediately give way to raw, muddy industrial outskirts. It takes intense, chaotic manual labor to continuously rebuild and support the gleaming tech cities. Piles of construction dirt and active excavation sites sit directly adjacent to modern offices. The historical competitive advantage of endless cheap labor is ending. Wages are rising, and the workforce demands better compensation for this physical toll. Looking at this split bar chart, the severe disparity sharing these exact city blocks becomes obvious. A white-collar tech employee enjoys an upper-middle-class lifestyle, while the migrant manual laborers constructing their office buildings operate under entirely different financial realities, earning a fraction. The grit and pollution captured by critics are the physical side effects of a society being rebuilt in real time, a landscape defined by perpetual demolition and construction that never quite finishes. If you cut through the geopolitical noise and the algorithm wars, you find the actual human workforce driving the economy. Sustaining domestic supply chains across these massive geographic distances requires grueling, relentless labor from thousands of long-haul truck drivers. This flowchart maps out an invisible barrier called the hukou system, an internal passport. When workers leave a rural village for an urban construction job, their registration remains tied to their hometown, restricting access to public schools and healthcare. Hundreds of millions fall into this migrant labor classification. They build the cities, but legally operate on their margins. This extreme work culture is directly born out of a recent, severe history of poverty. The older generation remembers living without electricity, and that trauma fuels relentless ambition to secure wealth. While algorithms and robots get the headlines, the real momentum comes from a deeply human desperation to secure economic safety. Western internet arguments completely miss deep cultural nuances. The business culture in the North, heavy on relationships and drinking, is drastically different from the results-oriented, fast-paced environment in the South. When travelers step off the algorithmic path and ride with the working class, they find genuine hospitality and shared laughs inside a dusty truck cab. It is impossible to compress 1.4 billion people into a binary internet debate. The cyberpunk infrastructure and rusty street-level gig are not mutually exclusive. They exist right on top of each other in the exact same physical space. To understand the 21st century's most pivotal superpower, you have to stop looking for a comic book villain or a perfect utopia and accept the messy, brilliant reality of the human beings living there.